Hello and welcome to this short video tour of Eva Rose. She's a Hallberg-Rassy 310 from 2011, now for sale at Hamble Point Marina. The first thing you may notice is there are no teak decks on Eva Rose. This was specified by the owner to keep the running costs of the boat down. If we get a bit closer look, you can see the gel coat is finished in a non-slip pattern, so moving around is not a problem. You've got handrails on the windscreen and also these long teak ones running up and down the coach roof. Opening hat port lights on each side, two big ones there, and in the middle of the coach roof, just under the kicker, two large opening hatches also. There's a solar panel there that trickle charges the batteries when you're not connected to shore power. Silver anodized mast and boom. There is an Elvstrom stack pack there and a double spreader rig with wind instruments, navigation lights and a VHF aerial at the top. The mainsail is fully battened Elvstrom and there's a furling jib. These have been valeted and cleaned this year. There is also a furling Jenica for use with the bowsprit, which we'll look at in a second. Moving forward, there is plenty of space. You walk through the shrouds and plenty of wide side decks for your feet. There's a large hatch here to allow light into the foredeck. Electric windlass with power buttons, foot pedals on the deck there, 40 meters of chain. And this is the large anchor locker, which we use to stow fenders as well. The furling drum is in there, so this allows the tack to be attached at deck level and therefore working canvas all the way down. There's a stainless steel bowsprit on the port side of this picture, sticking out over the bow, an extra at build. Looking back on the 310, there is a opaque hatch here on the port side, that's for the heads. Deck step mast, as always, keeps the Hallberg-Rassys very dry down below, smell free. Spinnaker halyard attached here. The halyards disappear underneath this moulding, no trip hazard there. All the lines go back to the cockpit, which we'll see shortly. We've got cars for the Genoa sheets, they're on travellers. And the traditional Hallberg-Rassy windscreen with an opening centre section. The canvas is in very good condition. That all folds forward and tucks away in a nice leather cover when it's not in use. And she's also got the cockpit extension, which allows this space to be used when you're not sailing to sit out in. The owners also have modified the main sheet track to be removed when it's not in use. There's a large cockpit table seating for 4 people. The main sheet and the jib sheets are all led back here, easily within reach of the helmsperson. We've got this lovely hide coloured steering wheel in very good condition. You can see the autopilot there. Steering compass, let me just give you a view forward. So you've got this wonderful Raymarine chart plotter here. She has AIS. And then you can also see forward through the windscreen with all your lines there as well. And just come around, we can look in this cockpit locker. This is the lion's share of the deck storage on the most Hallberg-Rassys. It's got a very large opening section and it's very deep inside, so you can get your dinghy in and out of there if you wanted to. There's loads of room. Just have a quick look at the engines and the controls. Here's your autopilot. Light controls. The engine has less than 500 hours on it. It's a Yamaha. Other instruments up here on the deck. Depth and wind instruments here. And here are your lines. Led back aft. On the transom there is a cockpit shower with a mixer. You've got the outboard push pit bracket. This all opens up to allow access to the back of the boat. And there's a step and a stainless steel swim ladder. Here we are down below on Eva Rose. This is the main saloon, obviously. It's the most beautiful accommodation here. It's almost in mint condition. There's a large drop leaf table that takes centre stage that reaches all the way across from the port cushions to the starboard cushions. There's storage behind and ventilated lockers. There's the main bulkhead with the mast support. We'll go to the forepeak in a minute. Here is the starboard side berth arrangement. Opens up. There's a nice reading lamp there. It's pretty wide, good accommodation for crew or when you're on passage. The galley is a very good design. It uses the companionway steps to form a kind of sea galley. So once you're in there. You can easily pass things up and down to the cockpit. There's a opening hatch there that opens into the cockpit. Plenty of lighting and storage behind the cooker. There is a very easily organised refrigeration with the baskets. Runs off a 12-volt compressor and a double stainless steel sink. Fiddles all around, holding on, stopping things falling off. You've got more drawers here, and there's a chopping board that opens up as well. She has 220 circuits, so that's that brown square in the picture. There's one in each cabin, that's for your plugins. Stowage underneath some of this, the rest is tankage. There's the heating in all the cabins as well. As we go forward through the main bulkhead, you can just see the condition of the wood. There's no marks, staining, no pictures have been hung up, no holes. On the starboard side is the wet locker. We have these horizontal mahogany slats which allow ventilation around the boat, stops any condensation. The very dry, smell-free boats have Hallberg-Rassy in general, and Eva Rose is no exception. She's a beautiful example. Small vanity unit for the V-berth. This is all storage under here. There's shelves. The anchor windlass, the motor lives in that cupboard. Out the elements. There's still space to put your things. Another reading lamp here. Here's the view of the saloon from the front. You can see there's only 3 wide companionway steps. Access is very easy in and out the main living space. The heads again, standing room in here. Manual sea toilet with a holding tank. Nice, very tidy shower drain. Pumps overboard. Again, you've got the hot and cold fresh water. And a large mirror. And 2 opening hatches. The 310 was the first design from Hallberg-Rassy to omit the chart table, so the space is just too valuable on the 310. So here we have what remains of the chart table. You've got your Empire bus system, 12-volt system, VHF radio. The current owners have installed a voltmeter, heating controls, there's your radio. The domestic batteries were new in 2016, and there is a emergency crossover switch so you can start the engine from the domestic batteries should you need to. This is the aft cabin, which again is a bright space, just about standing room here, lots of opening hatches, a large vented hanging locker. Underneath here is a battery charger and batteries, another heating outlet and 220 volts. Plenty wide enough for 2 people to sleep. The saloon headlining has these 2 large hatches that we saw on deck. Inside we have the very discreet shades which are half mosquito net and half blackout blind.